What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here with episode number 65 of Robin's Revival, and in today's episode we return home to the county ground finally after the expansion to face Aston Villa. If you haven't done already, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Let's roll the intro, let's get on with this. So here we are then, and we have got some exciting stuff to share. First off, in the league table, we currently sit in 10th place, 37 points. We are 7 points behind Tottenham, just a point ahead of Sheffield United, and a couple of points ahead of Leeds. But we're very much kind of safe from the drop zone. You would have to think 15 points clear as things stand. With 8 games left to play, it seems fairly likely that we are free clear of the drop zone. 3 points today should absolutely secure it. Before we get into what you've missed though, there has been some transfer news, so we should go through who's come in. So one out to tell you about first is Matteo Bachemic. He's played a few games for us this season, but he was being a bit of a moaner, so I sold him to Dynamo Kiev for 7.25 million, and I'm quite happy with that because it gets a guy who keeps moaning out of my squad, and I've made a £5 million profit in half a season on a guy, so I'm pretty happy with that. But we've brought some big names in. We should talk about that. I didn't want to sound like I'm teasing you, but the first one we brought in was not quite such a big name, but that's Matteo Bachemic. He is an American striker come winger. He's probably going to make a debut at some point in the near future. I signed him on a free after he got released by Houston Dynamo. He originally came from Argentina, but has moved to the US, hasn't got any caps yet, but you know, he's got some decent ability, and I think he's a good addition to our squad, adds some depth and gives us that little bit of benefit of experience and maybe some extra skill, which we quite like to see. But let's start with the big names, shall we? Make with the big names. And the first one is very versatile former Arsenal youngster Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I signed him from Brighton. He came in for 2.2 million after Brighton paid 15 for him. He's had a mediocre-ish season in the Championship, in the Premier League this season, but I feel like he's still got some ability and some potential to develop. I say potential to develop. He's 31, but he's got 5 caps for England. Having 5 caps for England will always make you okay in my book, as will being able to play everywhere on the park. He's a good guy to have on the bench at the very least, and I think he's going to be a real winner for us. But he isn't the biggest name I've signed in this window, nor is he the only England international. Because joining us from Barcelona for £4.3 million is Jack Grealish. And Jack Grealish has everything we need, even at 33, to really help push. His pace is gone, but he's got everything else. He's got all those skills, those good mentals that will make him a great mentor for someone. He's had a decent career in game. I mean, we start on the 21-22 season when he just joined City. He played a lot of games for City. I think he must have been out with injury most of this season, but he came back, had a decent season for City. They sold him to Barca for 41 million, and we've brought him back for a tenth of that after 4 pretty good seasons at the new camp, and he's had 4 games for us and played really well so far. So I cannot at all complain about Jack Grealish as a signing. But I've also got 3 new people in the boat, so let's go meet them. I said 3 new because I can't count. One of the guys I have brought in is Sunday Obidima, who is a Spanish centre-half we have brought in on loan from Manchester City. Interesting fact, though, I found this out when I saw his biography pop up before a game. If we look in here, I believe, somewhere in here, his first senior goal was scored for Sunderland against us 2 seasons ago, so that's pretty strong. We've met him before, but he's had some good loans actually from City since they signed him from Valencia. Had a season in the Championship with Bristol City, did well, another good season in the Championship, or 2 good seasons in the Championship for Sunderland. He also made his league debut for Manchester City this season, coming off the bench. And he's now playing for us. He's played 6 times, looks really strong as an Arsenal, 3 times in the Cup, which we'll get into in a second. But I'm happy with him as a signing. He's a quick centre-half, strong centre-half, lots of stamina, good in the air, good on the ground. Kind of everything we need in a centre-half right now, and he's fit into the team really, really nicely, as we'll find out properly in just a second. But before that, our final loan signing is Amina Bushwari, who is a Moroccan international who's joined us on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, a offensive midfielder who can also play proper centre mid and is fitting again quite nicely for us. We have actually options to sign both of our loan signings on permanent should we want to, which is quite good. He is a good backup for Page. Stones and Speckschneider now have been confirmed as just leaving at the end of the season as well. And Yao Maria not quite the upside that Bushwari does, so we might make this guy a permanent signing. Either way, let's get used to seeing him in the team for now, and we'll see what the end of the season brings. Which brings us to the end of our transfer business for the summer, which was for the winter even, it was quite an eventful window. We've brought in 8 players over the course of this window, and they've all made real positive kind of moves to the club. Really looked good for us. I also let Trent Stewart go to Bradford on a loan just to see one last chance to develop as a player. But since we last met, which was the game against Manchester City where we got absolutely tanked, we lost 3-2 to Everton. Goals from Skorshotowski and Jack Grealish on his debut. We drew 2-2 in the FA Cup 4th round. Goals from Obadima and Lopez. Beat Leicester 5-2. A brace from Lopez, a brace from Take Kubo, and a goal from Rainier. We then beat Palace 4-1 in the replay of that cup game. A brace from Gordon. Goals from Lopez and Salai. A goal from Jan Skorshotowski was our only goal in a 5-1 home loss against Liverpool. We lost 2-0 to Spurs in the league. We lost 1-0 after extra time to Fulham in the FA Cup, which was quite disappointing. Then beat West Ham 2-1 in the league, goals from Salai and Lopez, and drew 0-0 with Brighton in our last league game, which brings you well up to date. And let's go and play Aston Villa in the showers at the county round and see what we can do, shall we? So today's starting lineup then is going to be Baxter in goal. It's Gould, Obadima, Pedro and Gerson Fer starting at left back. Page, Ruiz and Kubo is the centre of midfield. We've then got Gordon and Salai on the wings, Lopez up top. On the bench, Stones, Land, Bushwari, Skorshotowski, Maitland, Niles, Speckschneider, Bachemic, Gibson and Solari, who are a pretty strong combination, I think, on the bench. We've got a lot of extra tools in our toolbox to play with. Just realised I've not picked Jack Grealish. That doesn't make any sense to me. Let's put Jack Grealish on the bench in place of, I guess Bachemic is the weakest link there, so we'll put him on in place of Bachemic because I've got everything else covered. Beautiful stuff. We'll have Jack Grealish on the bench and probably see him a little bit later. That feels like a solid plan, so let's get into the game. So in the dressing room, I feel like we're going to pump our fists and say this is our chance to exact revenge on Villa after the last time we played them, because that feels like it's a strong option. We want to get the guys fired up for a win, so we're going to tell them we've got faith in them and see what happens. Take Kubo doesn't seem entirely convinced, but hopefully we'll turn him around during the game. Lost the last 3 matches against Villa. Are we confident now to end the hoodoo on Saturday? There's no reason we can't go out there and win. Secret had a good home record as our fans give us an advantage, and you've got a terrible record against Abelardo in your career. Why have you found it so hard to beat him? He's a brilliant manager, tends to get the better of me or whatever. Let's lay the record to rest. Want to win every match. Beautiful stuff. Right, let's get into this. Villa are playing in blue. We are at the new improved county ground, and boy does that Stratton Bank look big and slightly intimidating. They still haven't bothered putting a roof on it, but at least they tried. Right, Gerson Fer on the ball. This is the first highlight after 40 minutes. It's Obadima on the ball to Ruiz, all the way back to Baxter. I was going to do a shout there, and I realised I probably should see what happens in this highlight as Take is on the ball in central midfield. He's played on the wing and in central mid for us, looked good in both places as Take picks the ball back up from Salai. Lopez back to Salai, ball through looking for Ruiz. Can Ruiz score? He can't. Musso makes the save. And I'm beginning to regret not signing Musso in the transfer window. I did have a long, hard look at him, and I thought Baxter's good enough, it's fine, but Musso might be one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League at this point. I'm not sure. Fernandes to McTominay to Downs now for Villa. All the highlights coming towards the end of the first half. Harris on the ball now. Can we win this ball back to Downs? Downs over the top looking for Cota. Ruiz though on the ball. Take to Lopez. Can we get a late goal to send them into half-time with thinking to do? We probably can't if we're going to give it away. Magno on the ball now, and he's got loads of space to run in because no one's getting across the front of him. Harris back to Magno. Ball goes all the way back to Downs. Downs to Konsa. And Konsa goes back to his goalkeeper, Musso. Diego Lete to Downs. We need to do something here. Ball goes over the top for Biuk to Koita. Biuk in, and Biuk has scored. Oh, that's not the one. I don't want to have to go in having to deal with heads dropping at half time. That is not the way to go into this. And I know we've had very few highlights in this first half, but that is a real kick in the teeth with 20 seconds left on the clock in the half. Not really what I was looking for, especially when I'm going to have to give the team talk of my life at half time in this dressing room, because I felt like we've been arguably the better team in this one. We're going to do exact revenge again. We're going to go do some pumping fists, go out there, do a thing. In fact, before I do that, let's do some individual shouts at some midfielders, because some of them have not been good enough. You've not been good enough so far, get it together. I'm going to tell these two guys actually that they've not been good enough. Well, in fact, we'll tell them they've got the ability to make a difference, and we'll go back to the individual positional whatsy doodles and tell them what they need to hear. Also, we're going to go into the tactics, and we're going to rejig some of our opposition instructions with the assistant manager. Just because he's had time to see how the game is shaking out, probably has a slightly different set of opinions to what we had before the start of the game. So we'll go start the second half. We've got a kick-off highlight straight away, which could be good, could be bad, as Pedro plays it to Fair looking for Salai, doesn't finding Koita on the ball now, going for Biuk. And if Biuk gets a goal either side at half-time, this one could actually be over, and he's talking of over. Hoofed over the bar. The Town men has also got a second tier as well, which is interesting stuff as well. We are really developing the county ground, apparently, with these extra seats. Right, ball is going over the top for Koita. Obedima has headed it back to Baxter. Pedro on the ball to Obedima. Apparently these guys don't play well together, but they seem to be doing okay together so far in this first half. Take on the ball, who's had a terrible game so far. Lopez to Salai. Ball over the top looking for Ruiz. Can Ruiz get himself a goal? He has a pop and he puts it deep into the Stratton bank, and that is not where it needed to go at all. We need to get a goal. We need to get a goal quickly, and I'm starting to think about maybe it is time for Jack Grealish or not. Right, we're on the ball now with Obedima back to Baxter. I've made all the subs, hoping something big will happen as Pedro plays to one of them, Grealish to Ruiz to Salai. I've got Skorshutowski on up top as well. Speckschneider has moved to the right wing, or come on the right wing, because I feel like I need something extra, a bit more creativity in there, and hopefully we can get something out of this game. But it's looking very dire right now. I'll do the trigger press while we get the instruction to do it, but I'm also going to demand more from the boys, and let's see what we can do in this last 10 minutes. Right, goal kick now for Villa. It's Musso taking it. Ball goes deep. Can we win this? Obedima has won it. Gould to Speckschneider. Back to Gould. Back to Speckschneider. Can we build something here? Speckschneider with a good ball across looking for Salai. He's going to find him. Who's in the box? Ruiz isn't quite in the right position. That might have been an own goal there. I mean, that's 50-50, isn't it? That is 50-50. Goal line technology says it wasn't a goal. But, you know, there's still a little bit of time here. Still a little bit of time to get something. Just 3 minutes left on the clock. We are going to do a fire up, see what happens in these last few minutes. Fire up always seems to make players angrier rather than happier. But either way, I need something to come from them. The final whistle is about to go. We are going to lose 1-0 on our return to the county ground to Aston Villa, and that's quite disappointing. The defence, to be fair to them, has had quite a good game today. It's just there hasn't been enough coming from our midfield to get us a goal. Disappointing. We should have won that match based on chances created is a good shout, and I feel like I'm going to tell the defence I'm pretty happy with them, but I'm not going to let. We're gonna walk away from that one before I make anyone else angry. Everyone else seems demotivated, but the defence genuinely did have a decent game. So I don't know what they're expecting me to do, but tell the defence they had a decent game. It's an awkward one. It's an awkward one, but there are still a few games left to play in the season, so maybe we can turn things around. There's a small chance, a really small chance we can sneak into Europe here, but just advancing on last year's 13th and building a better side in the summer would be great. While your player struggling in front of goal, the difference between a good player, a very good footballer, is decision making. That's a good thing. What happened out there? Played well enough to win. You can't always win. Had to tear up my half-time notes. We've all done these team talks before. These interviews all know how they go, but let's get back to our schedule screen, work out where we are coming back in the next episode, because that's going to be pretty important, I feel like. So let's have a little look. In fact, I know what we're coming back. We're coming back for the last game of the season at home to Leeds United. And in the interim, we've got to play Chelsea, who sit 6th. We've got to play Norwich, who sit 13th. Burnley in 16th. Man United in 4th. Forest in 19th. Southampton in 15th. And Leeds in 12th. So only 2 of our last, 7 games are against teams who are above us, which, let's assume the absolute best will happen. That's 15 points. Still wouldn't be enough to get us into Europe unless we win all 7 games and Chelsea get 0 points from the rest of the season, which seems unlikely. So we're just trying to see how far up mid-table positions we can get, which is absolutely fine by me, because I wouldn't have predicted that a couple of seasons ago, and here we are. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I haven't always been chasing lamely. Sorry I couldn't get you a win today, but leave comments, likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. Leave everything down below. And until next time, guys, which will hopefully be Monday, thank you for watching. See you all very soon. Have a good one.